Nick Huey, thanks for joining Sky News Your World. As you've openly admitted, you're far from the typical environmentalist, being a Republican Mormon from Utah. So why are you so devoted to addressing climate change?
Right. Well, just because I think it's a really, really big issue, and I see it affecting my kids. I have two kids. I want them to grow up in a happy world, same world that I've grown up in, with plenty of opportunity. And climate change is just one of those big, scary things that I feel like is a little bit beyond my control. Right? It's something that I can't do a whole lot about, and so I spend all of my time trying to convince other people to help me do something about it, because I think that's our best shot.
So Nick, give us a quick elevator pitch for the far middle. What exactly are you trying to do and why?
So the far middle really is a call to action for those who are still in the middle in America and across the world to begin to work together again, to find our voice. We feel like the middle's really been silenced. Like you're poo-pooed if I'm a Republican and I work with Democrats, or vice versa. It's really frowned upon, and we think that's not okay. So we're trying to, through a respectful dialogue, establish the middle again, and to give them more of a voice. So Citizens Climate Lobby, really the voice of the far middle, lobbies Congress in a way that is very, very different than other green groups do. They're very long-term focused. They want to build relationships. They treat Republicans and Democrats exactly the same. And have a respectful discussion, seeing what Republicans bring to the table or Democrats bring to the table in helping to solve this crisis.
Well, one could argue that getting US lawmakers to take drastic action is simply impossible. The biggest polluters are among the biggest donors to US politicians on both sides, meaning the lawmakers who could bring about positive change are beholden to those who don't want to take meaningful action to prevent climate change.
So Citizens Climate Lobby, our approach is grassroots lobbying, right? Our mantra is creating the political will for a sustainable world. And you're exactly right. But the thing is, the votes still come from massive amounts of people. And grassroots lobbying, we have representatives in all 50 states who are meeting regularly with their members of Congress in order to enact change. And we've seen huge gains from that. One of the biggest caucuses in Congress is the Bipartisan Climate Solutions Caucus, which we had a direct hand in helping come to fruition. And that happened because we were treating, the same Republicans and Democrats who are receiving donations from big companies. We were treating them with respect, with consistency, and seeing what solutions they had to offer. And pretty soon they began to ask us what our solution was about, and really began to make some positive strides. The other thing is, I understand what the cynics are saying, but the other thing is that it's getting to the point where it's going to be impossible not to address it, where no amount of money that you can pay somebody is going to tell them, listen, your home in California didn't matter. All of your constituents, their homes just disappeared. Don't worry about it. That's just not going to happen. People will not vote for people who aren't going to do something about climate change.
Climate action groups have criticised both major US parties for not doing enough to address the problem. But the gulf between the Democrats and Republicans on climate change is pretty significant. How can that gulf, Nick, be addressed? And is there politically any reason for the Republicans to champion this issue?
Well, that's a totally fair question. And, there are a few answers to that. Cabinet positions change and public opinions change. So public opinion could force President Trump to really, really have to deal with this issue. If there are Republicans and Democrats coming together to affect change, as we've talked about, that can change. The other thing is that you're exactly right. One of the biggest issues is the divide. In my testimony, I said that climate change wasn't the disease. It's a symptom of the real disease, which is partisan pride, the left and the right. And it's not just the right or the left. Both sides have done wrong. And have done things right as well and have value to offer. But if we can solve the disease of partisan pride and begin working together, then we are going to do things that we never thought were possible before. So you're absolutely right. I think that we need to solve the partisan divide, and then things like climate change, healthcare, gun reform, whatever it is, we can begin to make steps in the right direction.